are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
host of Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We do plan to do a mailbag segment or episode coming up soon. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, hot takes, whatever it may be related to Rays baseball, Tampa Bay sports, life, we don't care. Just shoot us an email, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Who knows, Ulises, by the end of next week, it could be a very, very good, happy Thanksgiving if you're a Rays fan, considering the news and the rumors and the reports that are being thrown out there regarding a possible contract extension between your Tampa Bay Rays and one Wander Franco.
Well, yeah, that was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I just call me gloomy or whatever it is, negative Nancy here, but
You're skeptical?
my God, so skeptical. I mean, bro, I can't. Where do I start? All these people out in Race Nation saying they're gonna get Verlander. They're gonna go get Max Scherzer.
We really need to stop that. We really need to put the lid on this nonsense.
Kevin, that nonsense it just fuels my blood to a boil, because it's like, you've been Rays fans for so long and you're still buying into this baloney. You're not going to get a Hall of Fame. They're not going. Syndergaard got $22 million after not pitching for 2 years, only 2 innings.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get You're not. They're not going to get anybody who is no.
You're getting Martin Perez, maybe, if that.
Eduardo Rodriguez is getting 5 years, $75 million.
Insane.
So look at the market. The average annual value is just going insanely high, and people all over Twitter are just going, "No, the Rays have enough money." And no, do you know what the other 29 other teams can do?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so frustrating seeing Rays fans that have seen how this team operates go for what they want in this utopia instead of let's live in reality, guys.
Right.
They're not going after these big names. Oh, but they could. Sure, they could. But let's take like the last 12 years since 2008 and see how they've operated. Having said that.
Okay. Wander Franco. He's not a free agent.
He is not a free agent. He is under team control for the next 6 seasons or 6.5, however it may lie, and depending on the CBA. But this idea of locking him up, love it. I've said it in the past. I love the idea of getting this guy who seems to be incredibly special with this franchise for the next decade.
Yes.
If you can do it. Now, the numbers that are being thrown, 100, 150,
at least
that, which by the way should be the floor, the basement of what he probably wants. It seems low. So when you talk now 10 years, 200 mil, I think that is a great way of opening it up. Why do I say that? Because first of all, you're going to get some free agent years. And you get him a salary raise right off the bat right now. I mean, he would be a sophomore earning what, $3 million?
Right.
That's pretty nice for a guy who likes to spend money.
Yes.
And by the time that this contract ends in 10 years, he's 30 years old.
In the prime, seemingly.
I mean, of a guy who doesn't, he has blazing speed and he's an agile guy, but that's not his forte. You don't think of Wander Franco and you think, oh, Juan Pierre. No. So his age is not going to, his talent is not dependent on his age, on his fast, on his speed. So it's a part of it, but not all of it. So I think he would then be able to now sign another kind of contract for another $100 million. And so now you're talking about a guy who has earned $300 million in his playing career. That's pretty nice.
Question. Do you think a deal is agreed upon sometime this offseason between Wander and the Rays, be it for $100 million, $150 million, $175 million, $200 million over 8 years, 10 years, whatever it may be? Is something signed on the dotted line?
I wouldn't be so confident. No.
Okay.
I think first, I'm not confident because I feel like the number is way higher
than where the Rays would go.
Where the Rays are starting. Like, I mean, this is the team that said for a new stadium they're willing to put $150 million on an $800 million project.
Right.
So are they? I would suspect that they're lowballing Wander Franco as well, and saying, "Oh yeah, 10 years, 100 mil." When he probably wants 200, 220 for 10 years at least.
Yeah.
So that's why I see it as not, factual that it's going to happen. 100% it's going to happen this offseason. It depends. I hope so. I hope they better sign him.
Right.
I just don't have that much hope for it.
I think it's going to happen.
Why?
Because it's already being reported and rumored. If the Rays are already this serious about throwing this kind of coin, 9 figures, then they're not messing around. Because if Wander was to, and his agent were to say, okay, we'll sign that. They're like, oh, wait, we really didn't mean that. We didn't really mean to offer you all this money. Now, this also could be a little bit conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
A distraction from the stadium saga. This could be a good PR win for the Rays of, the Rays are in long-term contract extensions, trying to work something out with Wander Franco.
Right.
Another question for you. If you're Wander Franco and the Rays do legitimately offer you, say it is $150 million over 10 years. Would you accept that if you're Wander today, if you're in his shoes?
If I'm Wander, no.
Okay.
If I'm Wander, no. I mean, you got to reach that $200 million if I'm Wander. Now, if I'm Ulises Sambrano,
right.
Bleep, yeah. But if I'm Wander, if they don't say 200, I don't answer. I mean, I'm a guy that, with this generational talent, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it, and I don't care about injuries. I mean, when a guy the system is completely broken. Not broken, but kind of. Noah Syndergaard just got $21 million by the Angels after pitching 2 innings for the last 2 years. It doesn't matter. So like when we say, Tyler Glasnow just saw Noah Syndergaard pitch 2 innings in the last 2 years and gets $21 million.
Yeah.
And then people are saying around here, Tyler Glass is going to sign with the Rays for $15 million for 3 years.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
No. He's going to risk it and say, you know what? I'd rather get paid $60 million for 3 years. And if the Rays don't do that, then I'm not gonna sign. Guys, it's going to be very difficult to sign these people. So you have to open up the checkbook,
right,
for guys like Glasnow and Wander Franco. And if we're talking about Wander Franco specifically here, 200. I think that's going to. So I will ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you think the Rays are willing to put $200 million or more for a 10-year span on Wander Franco? Do you think that they if you're saying they're going to sign him because you keep hearing these rumors, do you think they'll touch 200?
I think they could. I think they could. Now, they might have to be creative with the salary structure and how they build those years out. And just because they sign him to a, say it is 10-year, $200 million deal, that doesn't mean they can't trade him later on like they've done with Evan Longoria and Blake Snell and so many others over the years. Yeah. And that would still be a great value for another team, assuming that Wander lives up to a guy that 80 hit tool shortstops don't grow on trees.
No.
You don't see very often where literally nobody in the scouting community says, yeah, I'm not so sold on this Wander Franco guy. Everybody unanimously believes that he is the real deal. And the fact that these conversations are being had and this type of money from the Rays is being I don't know how legitimate, but they're rumored. It's being reported out there that they're playing ball here to some extent. That just goes to show me what they think and how good this player is and can be. The fact that not only is he a great talent, a unique talent, but that they also trust his passion for the game, his work ethic, how he could be a good ambassador and a teammate, the energy he provides, and a real legit franchise cornerstone. Again, I guess I've been a hot take artist of late, but after seeing Wander Franco and what he did in 70 games and in the playoffs, I already think he might be the most complete hitter on the Rays roster. And I would not be surprised if over the life of, say it is a 10-year deal, that he compiles at least 50 WAR. I think this guy, man, he is special beyond repair.
So they better not act like they have in the last 12 years, except for Longoria's. And don't give me, they signed Kiermaier, they signed Moore, they signed Archer. Those were kiddie deals. Those were playground major league
Here's
teams.
Some pocket change.
Yeah, I mean,
get away from me.
Those are 28 other teams who are like, wow, we can do that on a Tuesday.
Right.
And the Rays are having a press conference for Archer's deal.
Yeah.
They're having a press conference for Moore's deal. Like, Brandon Lau's deal might be the most highway robbery ever for a guy who's a 4 WAR, 5 WAR player hitting 39 home runs, and you sign him for that long. So no, they have to come 200 mil or more. And I hope they do, because like you said, he is a generational talent, and you need to keep this guy in a Rays uniform for 8 years out of those 10 years, hopefully for 10 years.
Yeah. And you know what? I honestly don't even think it has to go as high as $200 million.
What?
I think it could go to 160, 175. And here's why I say this, because he will theoretically be able to get a lot of money in that second contract. And you look at where he's from, the Dominican Republic, look at some of the other greats from the Dominican Republic. If Wander Franco signed say it is 10 years, 155, 160, 170 mil, he would already be as wealthy or accumulate eventually in 10 years as much wealth as Vlad Guerrero Sr., as Pedro Martinez, as Sammy Sosa, as David Ortiz, as Alfonso Soriano, as Nelson Cruz. He could make significantly more money than Nelson Cruz with pen and paper at 20 years old.
Well,
Cruz has made $124 million in his career. And you know how much he respects and looks up and reveres Nelson Cruz, and being able to say, I just signed a contract that's 30, 40 million more than you ever have gotten.
Well, I hope that just like Longoria told Kevin Kiermaier, hey, you never say no to your first millions. I hope Nelson Cruz and Vladdy Sr. and all of those DR stars are telling Wander Franco the same thing. Jose Ramirez, a good friend of his, Willie Ibar, his family member, Eric Ibar, that they tell him, hey, look, we trust in your talent, get your first millions, and then go nuts for when you're 30. And I'll tell you this, you know what I go nuts for? Built Bars. I cannot just tell you how much I love Built Bars. They're low calorie, low fat, low carbs, high protein. My goodness, they're so delicious. They're covered in 100% real chocolate. And with Thanksgiving coming up, and with Christmas and all of the other holidays coming up, why not get yourself some Built Bars to not feel like you have to say yes to that extra piece of apple pie by Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty likes to bake a lot. And so you, instead of doing that, you can tell her, Aunt Betty, I got us some Built Bars for this Thanksgiving. And don't worry, I didn't go all nuts here, because I used promo code LOCKED15 and I got 15% off. So I actually know how to save money too. And Betty, you can keep your $15 that you were going to give me for Christmas. So go to built.com, choose all the flavors of the Built Bars that you want, use promo code LOCKED15, and you get 15% off for your Built Bars at built.com.
Very good. And let me say this too, that I really hope there's not people out there. I'm sure there's always somebody that's going to be incredibly contrarian that would say, oh, that's too much money for Wander Franco for the Rays. Let's consider the Rays this past year combined to give Yoshi Tsutsugo and Chris Archer like 13.5, 14 mil.
Yeah.
And they got what kind of production did they get out of those two combined? A negative 0.7 WAR.
There you go.
So
There you go.
I think the Rays and they don't have a lot of money. They don't have anything on the books after besides Brandon Lau after this year.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So
and you can trade Kiermaier. Let's be honest.
Sure.
And that's why. And just kind of continuing on this discussion, maybe this is why the Rays haven't. We had heard so much about. Oh, they're talking with Randy. They're talking with Meadows. They're talking with Glass now. They've
Adonis a couple of years ago.
They've approached a lot of guys about long-term contract extensions. Maybe they said, let's really hold the brakes. Let's not be totally, completely serious. Let's not lock up one of these other guys until we see what we have at our disposal with Wander Franco. Maybe they're putting all their chips into the Wander Franco basket like the Marlins essentially did with Giancarlo Stanton not too long ago.
I hope so. I hope that's exactly their train of thought here, because this is the guy that you want to lock up for 10 years, man. He was so fun to watch for those 70 games. He is not afraid of the big moment, the bright lights. I really hope that I'm wrong and they sign him off this offseason. I really hope I'm wrong and they don't just lowball him. And if anything, if he says yes to something less than 200, that's okay. Yeah. I think he might be leaving some money on the table, but I will be happy nonetheless if I see Wander Franco signing something. But just like Melissa Herrera said on one of our tweets, I won't believe it until I see that ink is dried on that paper. I won't.
I see where you're coming from, although aside from Melissa Herrera and yourself, Ulises, the Rays fan base, at least on the Locked On Rays Twitter page, is very vociferous that this is going to happen.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because they're not thinking with their brains. I'm sorry. They're thinking with their hearts. They're thinking with their wants. Yes, of course, we want Wander Franco to be signed to a long-term contract this offseason. Every Rays fan wants that.
Right.
But it's not, will they? It's not the same, guys.
Yeah.
And we have a problem with that on Twitter. Everybody thinks it's wants. Like, we want that to happen.
No, but
will it?
Counter argument. When there have been Mark Topkin or somebody else reports that, hey, the Rays are having conversation with so-and-so about a long-term contract extension. Never in any of those times that I can remember, that actual dollar figures were thrown out there.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because Mark Topkin, as good as he is of a writer,
he doesn't get any scoops. He just
no scoops.
Hops onto Zoom calls.
Mark no scoops Topkin. When was the last time we actually heard breaking news from Topkin? It's always national writers that are saying Tampa Bay Rays
or international writers
or
in this case.
International writers in this case. Exactly. So that's my point. That's why when he says, "Oh, they're talking to Adames, they're talking to Randy Rosarena," there are never any dollar signs. He doesn't get scoops. As good as he is, he doesn't get scoops.
So the guy who reported this, he is a sports writer based in the Dominican Republic. I know is Jansen Pujols.
Yes.
I don't know if he's related to Albert Pujols. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But if this report had come from Jeff Passan or Ken Rosenthal or Evan Drellick, would that carry more cachet and weight to you, or that doesn't matter?
No. I trust the report that it's happening. I trust it that it's happening. I'm just saying that Topkin doesn't get the numbers. So that's why it's a little bit different. Like this one, I feel like there's some validity to it. But again, until that number says skews towards 200, then I won't think he's going to.
It does skew to 200. If we look at, this is what Pujols tweeted out. Sources have informed El Caribe RD, I guess that's the newspaper there, that Rays Baseball has presented a contract extension offer to Wander Franco. The offer is expected to exceed the 8 years, $100 million deal extended to Ron Jr. by the Braves in 2019. The Franco gets close to $200 million.
I think it has to exceed, not get close.
Okay. $199.999 million.
There you go. That's the one.
It's like we're at Walmart and it's no, not $2. It's $199.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're being creative there. Okay, moving on and continuing this discussion a little bit. Man, we love this Wander Franco talk. This is what the offseason is about. This is at least they're giving us good content here. That's what's important. Right? We don't have to do a player review today.
There you go.
That's nice.
That's nice.
And again, I'm just throwing this out there. I think Wander Franco, I'm putting a little early prop bet out there. Not only will he sign a contract extension this offseason, but he will also lead the Rays in WAR this upcoming season in 2022. I am that confident that he is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And again, I throw out all my criticism of him when he struggled getting called up, throw all that out, burn all those tapes because I was an idiot. I didn't give him enough time to matriculate and get comfortable in the big leagues because he's clearly comfortable now, especially in the playoffs, something that guys like Brandon Lau can't do. But aside from Wander Franco, say Wander Franco agrees to a deal or he doesn't agree to a deal and the Rays have to move on. Who would be that next guy that you would call and go to if you're the Rays and say, okay, now it's time to lock up this player to a long-term contract extension?
My podium is as followed. Number 3, Luis Patino. Electric stuff, man. I want him in the rotation for a long time. Number 2, Austin Meadows. I mean, he has proven to be just a quality bat that can just slug his way to being productive. And number 1, Shane Baz. I mean, I don't think I have ever been as high on a pitcher since maybe David Price. I know Snell and Moore had their big, hype up, and I really like them, and I think they've mostly been as advertised. But Shane Baz, I really like his stuff. I like his delivery. He cleaned it up, and he seems like a guy who has a good head on his shoulders and good family too.
Right.
So I think that can help keeping him grounded and maybe say yes to a long-term contract and kind of get his first million. So that's my podium.
I like that podium. And I'm starting to turn around on giving Austin Meadows a contract extension, because if you could have Franco, Brandon Lau, Austin Meadows for the foreseeable future, that's a pretty good part of the order. And he's
Randy
really,
too, in the mix for the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's in the mix. I wouldn't give him a contract extension.
No, I wouldn't either. No,
but I actually, if I'm doing my podium here, I would have Austin Meadows number 2.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a number 3, but I'll just throw this out there as a little argument.
Sure.
Perhaps Francisco Mejia.
Ooh.
26-year-old catcher, doesn't have a lot of miles on him. How often is it do you have a catcher that can hit that walks through the Rays clubhouse?
Not a lot. And if they walk through the clubhouse, then they leave because they are traded, and then they have success elsewhere. Robinson Chirinos, I'm looking at you. Stephen Vaught, I'm looking at you. John Jaso, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Number 1, I am actually not going to pick Shane Baz, because I look at, again, assuming we don't know what's going to happen with the CBA, but as of today, he won't be arbitration eligible till 2025 and won't be a free agent until 2028. That's a lot of control you would have theoretically. I would go after, and we're talking, and we put this out on Twitter, and people need to learn to follow directions, because we said, who's one other player you'd like to see the Rays lock up to a long-term contract extension?
Okay.
One other player, long-term contract extension.
Okay.
That doesn't mean you list 6 players, although I guess we're listing our podium here, so I guess we're not following the rules. But, people saying Mike Zunino, are the Rays going to give Mike Zunino a 4 or 5 year long-term, not an add-on 1 or 2 years?
Long-term is more than 5 in my book.
I agree.
5 or more.
I agree. But I will say a guy that, and I take into account the Rays' frugalness and how they're smart about maximizing value, I think you could lock up Shane McClanahan to a very, very, very team-friendly deal, a la Chris Archer back in the day, a la Matt Moore back in the day. You look at first of all, his signing bonus wasn't as large as some other guys that were first
Sure.
round picks. I mean, Shane Boz got a $4 million signing bonus. Shane McClanahan, $2.3 million. Shane McClanahan was in the clubhouse. He understands. He saw when guys like Tyler Glasnow and other pitchers have gotten injured and said, man, things can change on a dime
Sure.
for your career when you're throwing baseballs for a living. He already has a Tommy John surgery to his name. He's from Cape Coral, went to USF, loves the Tampa Bay area, is an avid golfer. Not many other places that you can go out there and golf year round. And again, these are just little things, but I think that you can play on the heartstrings a little bit of, you want to stay local? You want to, here's a 6-7 year deal for $25-30 million. And I think he might sign that thing. You'd have to add in some options and some bonuses and things like that. But I think you could get whatever. I can't remember the exact terms of the Matt Moore, Chris Archer deal, but something along those lines, something smaller than Blake Snell, a guy who had won a Cy Young and got a 5-year, $50 million deal. I think you can get something significantly better than that for Shane McClanahan.
If you can get a Cy Young winner to do a 550 and be the I think the largest at the time, I'm sure that you can do something less than Shane McClanahan. It wouldn't be a bad thing to have Shane McClanahan signed up for a while. I would put Green Skittles. That would be a good thing.
Hey, speaking of Green Skittles, man, Ulises with the transitions on the live rates. Look at that.
Thank you.
The bosses are going to love this. BetOnline is back and better than ever before. A new web interface for the start of the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Be sure to head over to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use their promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON. That's LOCKEDON to receive that bonus. BetOnline, it is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports, and it is where the game starts. That is BetOnline. All right, Ulises, it is a Friday. We're going to move along from the Wander Franco contract extension talks for now. More to come on that maybe within the next couple months. We'll have to wait and see on that. But we have baseball trivia and Name That War. You'll give me baseball trivia, and I've got what I think is going to be a fun Name That War for you. So what do you have in the trivia angle of things?
Well, I'm also excited about seeing what happens with the Rule 5 draft tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be exciting, and see who gets protected and all that. Okay, so for baseball trivia, Robbie Ray won the AL Cy Young a couple days ago. First Blue Jay to win it since Roy Halladay did it in 2003. This is a very easy question, Kevin, so I'm going to ask for a lot here.
Okay.
Can you name 7 of the last 9 Cy Young winners in the American League, starting with 2010? I will give you a hint. 2 pitchers repeat.
Okay. So if I say this one name, does that count for 2 or 3?
No,
okay.
No, but just as a little aside.
So name 7
of the last 9 Cy Young winners in the American League, starting with the year 2010.
Okay. I will say Justin Verlander.
There you go. That's one of the guys that repeats, 2011 and 2019.
I will say Garrett Cole.
That is incorrect. Strike 1.
Garrett Cole did not win a Cy Young.
Has never won one, actually.
That is a stumper. I so want to say Zach Greinke, but that is not.
I'm going to help you out. No, so it's not a strike, but it's 2009. And I said 2010.
Okay.
So
2010.
So think of freshman year college. That's where we're thinking.
Okay. American League. David Price.
There he is. Price, 2012. Very good.
Oh, man. You're killing me here. You are really killing me. I'm going to say Detroit Tigers, Max Scherzer.
There you go. Scherzer. Mad Max.
So I've got 3 and I need 4 more. I'm already struggling. I've already struggled with
Just
3.
think recency bias, baby. Maybe let's go.
I did with Garrett Cole, and clearly I was in that one. Heck, who won the thing last year? Oh my gosh.
I'm going to help you out.
Please.
Focus. You've got a couple in the AL East that you haven't mentioned.
AL East haven't mentioned.
One surprising and
Chris Sale.
Incorrect. Strike 2.
Okay, no.
Remember, he was surprising. He was in that team, but it was surprising because we don't think he's good.
This guy was on the Red Sox and he won a Cy Young, and
Yes.
I have not named him yet. And his name is not Chris Sale.
Correct. And we don't think he's good.
We don't think he's good.
He smashes TVs when he gets upset.
No, well, it can't be Brett Gardner. Oh my gosh. Oh, Rick Porcello?
There it is. Porcello won it in 2016 with the Red Sox. Very good.
Holy cow.
You're missing your boy that you just literally mentioned last segment from the AL East. From a team that you really like. Wow.
I mentioned Chris Archer definitely didn't win a Cy Young. Oh, Blake Snell.
There it is.
Holy. How soon we forget. He's dead to me. He's a Padre now. Winning 73 games.
There it is. You got 5.
Oh man.
With one more strike to go.
You're killing me. I really hope you whiff on this Name That War that I have coming up.
Go AL Central and AL West.
AL Central, AL West. I will say AL Central, it would have to be, okay, Shane Bieber.
There it is. Last year, Bieber fever.
And one more. Can I ask this? Is it a White Sox player?
He is currently in the White Sox, but he wasn't when he won it.
Dallas Keuchel.
Very good. Dallas Keuchel won it in 2015. The one that you missed, 2010, Felix Hernandez did it with Seattle. And that was great, man. And Corey Kluber with Cleveland. He won it twice.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this underscores how, like, pitching can be so fungible. Like you're Cy Young and now
twice, and then you have to sign a 1-year, $10 million contract with the Yankees.
That's what I'm saying. Shane McClanahan.
Oh, I hear the Rays are going after Kluber this year. Oh my! Oh man! Oh god!
Yeah, people on Twitter, you know who you are.
You know who you are.
Coming out with ridiculous trade scenarios that will never, ever happen in a million years. Yeah, sometimes we joke about Matt Olson. I mean, Matt Olson, you could work out a deal.
I can see that. That is Ray's type of thing. And even then, that's in the high-end spectrum of unlikelihood because there are so many other teams that can do that. But, of course, the Rays have the farm system. But it's the free aging signing that gets me heated the most.
Right.
Because it's like, have you been watching this front office operate for the last 13 years?
Yeah. The Rays aren't signing Carlos Correa, folks.
They're signing. They're signing Carlos Correa. Trevor Story's called me Javi Baez. Oh my god, dude! It's like then be a Yankee fan.
You might get Andrelton Simmons.
There it is. That's more Rays like.
Okay, Name That War. We talked about Dietrich Enns going to one of the Asian countries.
Yes.
And I figured I would go with an Asian player in the MLB that, and I will say, had a very good career. That's all the hints I'm giving you. And he's now back in Korea, I believe. Shin-Soo Choo. What is Shin-Soo Choo's career war?
Good one. I believe he started around 2005. So then he had really good years with the Cleveland Indians, signed with the Rangers. I think he had maybe one really good year there, and then the other two were kind of under the radar. So I'm going to go with he was a 4-WAR player for 5 years. That's 20. But defensively, that might knock him out a little. So let's go back to 16. I'm going to go with 15 WAR for Shin-Soo Choo. Shin-Soo Choo. 14
I'm going to give you another guess, and you are way low. You are really, really not giving him credit.
Okay, let's do some math again. So let's take 10 years and not say 5 really good years. Let's say 8 really good years. 8 really good years at 4, that'd be 32. Knock them off for defense. 28. I'm going to go with 28 WAR for Shin-Soo Choo.
According to Baseball Reference, 34.6.
Oh, man. Dang.
In 16 years in the bigs.
Oh, 16, not 10?
Yeah, 16.
Wow.
2005 to 2020. 824 career OPS, 218 homers, 275 career batting average, 122 OPS plus. He had 3 2020 seasons.
That's incredible.
By the way.
That's incredible.
In fact, I got some heat about Randy Arozarena not being so hot or not being, I'm going to say a little bit overrated. I'm going to say a little overrated.
Jesus, man.
Shin-Soo Choo had a way better year at his age 26 season than Randy Arozarena did. And nobody talks about Choo, really.
No,
he didn't have a postseason, or I don't even know if he got in the postseason. Didn't have the
07 with the Cleveland Indians.
Well, he didn't do what Randy did in 2020. No. But still, that is I would highly doubt that Randy gets to the career WAR that Choo got to. I think that's a fair assessment.
I wouldn't put it past Randy, man.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it past Randy to be a 30 WAR player.
Also on Choo, he once had a 52-game on-base streak. And he was also known as a guy, he was like the Brandon Guyer on steroids. Yeah. Hit by pitches. As of 2018, he led all active Major League Ball players in career hit by pitches with 132. Also, little brief trivia question before we tag off here. What does Shin-Soo Choo have in common with Miggy Cabrera, Tony La Russa, and Johnny Damon?
Tony La Russa, Miguel Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo walk into a bar. Why?
You're on the right track.
I don't know. They all have homes in Tampa.
No, they all walk into a bar and have one too many and then get in their car and drive. They all have drunk driving incidents.
Whoa.
Yeah, Choo had one of those.
Hello. Well, okay, you made us all smarter today, Kevin.
There we go. No, but I'm going to book it that, look, hey, give me all the hate mail you want. I don't care. I'm going to ignore it all, or I'll read it and laugh at it. But Randy Arozarena will not reach 34.6 career WAR.
When this pod is still alive in 10 years, we'll come back to this.
We might have to make a bet on that, which you can do, or you can have fun with on the Locked On Bets podcast. After you listen to our podcast, be sure to check out that podcast as well. We really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I think Ulises and we can speak that we had fun on this one, and we will be back next week. Probably just have a couple shows next week because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but should be fun nonetheless. All right. Thank you all for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast, and we will talk to you soon.